Hey, sports card fans, it's John Wade Boggs fan. Hope you're all doing well. One of the reasons why I put together my 100 cards for $10,000 list is that there were some players that I wanted to try to work on completing their playing days run of, but that I was missing several of their cards. One of those players is Warren Spahn, and up to this point, I have picked up two of his cards that I have on my 100 card list. Well, in this video, I'm going to show off the third Warren Spahn card off my list that I've picked up, and actually I have two more Warren Spahn cards that I've recently won that I'm waiting to get in the mail, and I'll be showing those off as well. So I'm really starting to check off the Warren Spahns that I'm missing. I still have a fair number to go, and some of his earlier Topps cards are not on the list just because of the cost of them. But I'm going to turn the camera around and show off card number 18 that I've picked up off of my list, the 1960 Topps Warren Spahn card. Well, here it is. 1960 Topps Warren Spahn. Picked this one up in a really nice 5.5. I really like the 1960 Topps set. You have the two images there, the color photograph, and then the black and white image there along the side, and then the alternating colors for the player's name. Now, if you take a look at this card here and look at the centering, you'll say, John, it's a little off center left to right. And yes, it is. And the reason why I was okay with this copy being a little off center left to right is that there are certain cards, certain sets, and how they're designed that if I look at a particular card and I don't notice the borders first thing, there's certain cards that just, because of the nature of the border, at least for me, my eye is drawn when I first look at a card. For whatever reason, my eyes are drawn to either the border first or the main image on the card. And for this one right here, when I pick this up, my eyes just go right here and then over to the blue section, and that is a solid blue background there. No print marks, little fish eyes or anything like that. And the yellow down at the bottom, it may be a little faded. I think there are some that maybe have a darker yellow to it, but no print issues there as well. Nice and clean. And again, when I look at this card, I focus right on Warren's face, that, you know, him looking off to the side in the distance. Really love that image. So for me, even though, yes, technically, normally I wouldn't buy a card like this with, I tried to find one that's a little bit centered better, you know, left to right here. Top to bottom is almost spot on. But when I saw the card and I saw what it was going for, it was an auction that I had the chance to pick this up at a decent price. I said, I want this card. So I am very, very happy with this pickup here. And, you know, those half grades sometimes work out in your favor because not everyone searches for half grades. And the back's really nice as well. Very happy with it. Nice and clean. You can see the little cartoon there off on the right. Some season highlights and his career stats up at the top there. So very, very pleased with this Warren Spahn card. Now, I am going to get into the details here of this particular pickup versus what I had on my 100 card list. And then I'm going to show off a couple other Warren Spahn cards I have from the 1960s and have a question for the viewers here. But for this 1960 Topps Warren Spahn card, I had it on my list in a PSA 7 and figured it would cost me $120 for a PSA 7. Now, there are some cards on my list that are more than $100. The average of all 100 cards averages out to be $100, but there are some on my list that were only $75 based on a certain grade. So there were some that were over $100, and this was one of them that I looked up and said in a 7 would be $120. Now, I didn't need a PSA 7. I didn't need to spend $120 to pick up a 1960 Topps Warren Spahn card, and I didn't. This 5.5 cost me, all in with shipping and tax, $70. So I am $50 to the good on this one card that I had put on my list for. So I had it for $120 in the PSA 7, picked up a really nice 5.5 and only spent $70. Now for a particular 5.5, I didn't look up the population, but typically half grades don't have the same population count as full grades. But it's a very tight selling range for 5.5s. On the low end, they've been going for $60. The average is $62, and on the high end is $64. Now you may be saying, John, you said you spent $70 and you're saying that's a good deal. I mentioned this in previous videos, but the VCP average price just goes off of the actual sale price, and what I'm quoting for my all-in cost includes shipping and tax. So technically I won this auction for $62. So I was right in the middle there of that small range for a PSA 5.5. But when you add, I think it was $5 in shipping, and then when you add that to the winning bid, the tax on that, I was right around $70. I typically round to the nearest $5, so it may be off a little bit, but $70 is roughly what I paid all in. So for the 18 cards that I have now picked up off of my 100 card list, I had anticipated spending $1,620, but I have only spent $870. So by dropping down a grade and a half, 2 grades in some cases for some of these cards, I'm able to save money, still pick up, in my mind, great eye appeal cards for my collection. So I am to the good after 18 cards of $750. So I continue to whittle away at that $10,000 figure, and I'm not going to get it down to $5,000. I know some people have made some comments in some of these videos that I should rename it to 100 cards for $5,000. There's going to be some cards on this list that I'll be actually lucky if I'm able to buy a card, even if I drop down a grade or so, to save any money at all. And there may be an instance where I may actually have to spend a little bit more than what I had anticipated on my list. So it's going to be somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000, hopefully closer to that $5,000 mark. So what I thought I'd do is show off my other 1960s Topps Warren Spahn cards and ask you as to which ones are maybe your favorites or favorite here. So let me put this back there. All right, so we have the 1960 Topps. Put him over there. And I'm missing his 1961. That's one of the ones that I'm working on. I've seen some examples, the 61s that I've seen. They're just too off center for me. But I do have his 1962 here with the wood border. So we'll put him there in the middle. I do have his 63. Nice image of him there. I'll put him right there. And lastly, I have his 64. So I also need his final playing days card, his 1965. Let's see if I can get that to center. There, your focus. There we go. So what I would like to know in the comments, one, what do you think about the pickup and the deal that I got on the 1960 Topps Warren Spahn card? But of these four here that I have from the 1960s, which Warren Spahn card do you like the best? Whether it be maybe because you like the set better, or maybe the certain image of Warren Spahn. But would love to know in the comments again, what do you think about this 1960 Topps pickup, and which one of these four cards of Warren Spahn is your favorite? And with that, that's all I have for you. Until next time, thanks for watching.